Now, let's get started on this frickin' quest. Where was it? It's a frickin' story quest. I do get it. Get quest! I wanna get it! Upon the plain, a purple shadow. Byakko Plain, Inazuma, go ahead. You and Paimon travel near Byakko Plain on your journey, and that's all we're ever gonna hear unless we get started on it. No. Oop. I got there anyways.
It's been a while since we first set foot on Inazuma.
Did I not do a story quest the other day, or does this story quest take place after another chasm equivalent quest of the Inazuma, and somehow time has passed since this moment?
So many things have happened since then.
Not really, but unless you count being stuck in the frickin' Samsara for the Sumeru Archon quest, then maybe, yeah, you could consider that.
Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey.
Also, I don't know if that even counts, because dream logic does, like, say that whatever happens in a dreams happen a lot fast. If you've ever watched the movie Inception, the idea of whatever happens in a dream happens, like, it's like your own little... Your mind is your own hyperbolic time chamber. Let's just put it like that.
So, where should we go today?
I don't know. What is... not long. Wait a moment.
Huh? What's up?
Wait a moment. I see something in the background. A butterfly, a purple barrier, or something somewhere. I don't know. Oh, someone's coming. Why?
Hey! What the
Really?
hell is that for?
We're just gonna... Oh, damn it. Oh, crap, I can't
Doesn't
even...
want to talk, huh? Alright, let's convince him to calm down a little.
I'll just pull it off with me all the whole entire time. Shield. What are you gonna do? Come out of nowhere. Ooh!
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all?
Did we not do something about that Vision Hunt decree? Or are you just so far out of the loop, you're outdated? And I thought the Raiden Shogun was outdated.
Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
Who are you looking for in the first place?
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them.
No. Some people who are like that, they shoot first and ask questions later, unfortunately. And I don't know if this moment in the story quest is a little bit of a criticism on that.
Oh, wait! Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Even so, why? Has the Ronin ever wielded the Shadow Sword before, or...
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedehara Kazuha?
Yes? What about him?
He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision.
Why are you looking for him? Why are you... not gonna lie, because the story quest is one of the few story quests absolutely nothing about. Also, Patrick, don't you get logged into your other account again? Yeah. Why are you looking for him?
That's none of your business.
Yeah, well, if you start attacking me, giving me a hard time, and bringing it up in the first place, it is kind of my business.
Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
You look like you're stupid, damn it. I'm gonna walk out of here. Why?
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase.
I'll try and change it. Okay.
Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha.
Very smart. For once. Even though I'm pretty sure Paimon may have had some smart decisions at some point. I'm pretty sure that it's more than once, so this one's on the Traveler.
Hey! Don't be mean! Paimon's smart lots of the time!
Yeah, well, don't be overconfident and think you're smart even when other people think you're stupid.
Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
Actually, I have a hunch. Maybe that Ronin is gonna find him anyways, and we gotta follow the Ronin.
Oh? What kind of hunch?
I think this guy may have had a special connection to Kazuha.
A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other?
I feel like their fighting styles are kind of similar. How would you know? Have you ever fought Kazuha? Or did you only glimpse from what he's done?
Yeah, maybe a little. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger.
And there's no time to lose. Let's go!
Paimon heard that the Quick Sleep is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look.
Oh, God. You. Why am I talking to you again?
Hey! Hello?
Patrick,
Do
please
you
and
know
thank
where
you.
Kazuha is?
Maybe.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha.
Why? Why is he famous?
If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention.
So, why Kazuha?
Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
Do you know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi.
Oh, being capable of having a technique to stand up to the right Shogun. Okay.
Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
You can compare the technique Beto used to strike down Haishun.
Really? Wow. When you put it, he was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou. I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Okay, so if for some odd reason you're able to take on the higher up, you deserve respect. Okay, if you piss off God, you somehow deserve respect.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable.
The Shogun would probably wants to show some goodwill after all the Raiden Shogun's mindset has changed. Probably after the frickin' Plane of Euthymia thing in the end of the Inazuma Archon quest.
Thank you. Guess we'll go pay a visit to the
Alright then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
You're gonna play the crowd control. God, what's wrong with my brain? My brain has somehow been broken! Oh, there's Kazuha.
Oh, it's you.
Yes, it's me.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt Decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation.
I'm just thinking about what Kazuha said. And Kazuha is like, it's you!
We invited Mr. Kaedehara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate.
Because he somehow brought her down a notch by blocking one of her really strong techniques.
Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful.
I find it interesting that Kujo Kamaji, the very one who, in a previous story quest with Raiden Shogun, challenged the Raiden Shogun, got his ass kicked, and it's interesting that he's having respect for Kazuha, who's able to block some of her techniques, so it's like it's no small wonder. Almost as if, could you please teach me some of those techniques so I can challenge her next time?
The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years.
I've developed policy to not piss off everyone else so that it will stop these future problems.
The Tri-commision has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedehara name.
Kaedehara? Because she killed your brother, aka best friend? Brother. Relative. Affiliate.
Regarding the history of the Kaedehara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed?
I forget.
In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. The Kaedehara clan belonged to this class.
Traditional blade forging arts, so they are blade forgers. The clan of blacksmiths.
But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight, and entered a period of great turmoil.
When someone is responsible for someone else, of course, like, shit's gonna start.
We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedehara clans was neither proper nor just.
It was the Fatui's fault.
Considering Mr. Kaedehara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past.
Interesting. To address historical grievances. As though in many cases that hasn't been done, but it's interesting it's being done in this case.
In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
In order to bring ourselves to this resolution, we can't show you how we got from A to B.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large.
But it didn't show how we got from A to B.
However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
Oh, now he's starting to realize the from A to B part.
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice.
I really wonder, is it really to correct a past injustice? Like, are you really doing this on your own? Or is it part of the whole clan head thing? Because, like, some people who are higher-ups would not do something unless it was in their best interest.
With the Kaedehara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedeharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end.
You finally get to restore your clanship's honor.
You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City, with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
You may have pissed off the Shogunate at one point, but we can overlook that by allowing you to walk in the city safely.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode.
I'm a rural person. I live outside the cities.
Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedehara, and the art of blade making for which it stood.
So you're a countryside person.
Have a responsibility to restore their honor.
So you're a countryside person, but your clan is like, you gotta be a city-side person.
I sense some hesitation in your words.
Well, when you're living in the countryside, of course there's gonna be hesitation.
Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Should you cooperate in everything, I believe everyone who's ever talked shit about you will shut up!
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedehara Kazuha in town.
Why would you wonder if there was another Kazuha? What gave you that idea? You talked about being smart. Well, this is not a smart moment.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedehara really parried the Shogun's strike.
Because what exactly is a Muso Hitotachi? Like a really fast strike? So he somehow was able to defend against it. I really wonder, like, what exactly is a Muso Hitotachi and how is he able to do it?
Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedehara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
Wait, what?
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
Well, first of all, I know Child, aka Tartaglia, was also able to use two different visions. So, I don't know if there's a similarity there. The only person I know who can use two visions. So,
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
I think I know why. It was during It's the Red Shogun signature attack. Maybe. I think it was Kazuha's relative. I can't remember if it was a brother or a friend. I'll just call it brother. His brother who had the Electro vision, who died, and it somehow went inert. but Kazuha kept it, and somehow when blocking off the Raiden Shogun's attack, he was able to use Electros. So I think that's where that other idea came in. Huh.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way.
In other words, you're pretty much used to it.
But perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
She's not gonna do it. Why? Because higher-ups don't ever want to do it.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious...
In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
There was a Ronin that was looking for you, and it had a weird shadow sword. I don't know if, like, something about that sword. Do all the other Ronin have that sword? I don't know, but maybe he wanted to test and see if he could use something similar to Muso Hitatachi, and then see if you can block that off. Is anybody else, aside from the Raiden Shogun, capable of using the Muso Hitatachi?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
There's a Ronin after you, and somebody else is also looking for you, and some people think you're famous. Maybe, is that the reason why Paimon thought there's a second one? The attack on the outskirts.
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me?
Do you have any siblings? Could it be someone you trained with under the same master?
No. This puzzles me as much as it does you.
So why did they use the same attack technique?
My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedehara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
Why did one of the Ronin somehow know this technique?
All the more reason to watch your back. This guy was a serious nut.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of...
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
So, why does he know that technique?
Thank you. I must say, I am now very curious about this matter. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked her, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Okay.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Will do.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
Dang it, I gotta change up. Let's go find out that person who's trying to kill me.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town.
Ow. Alright. Now. No. You. What do you know?
Hey there. We'd like to ask you a quick question.
Somehow you're not quick enough to say you gotta ask a quick
Do you
question.
know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaedehara Kazuha, we mean.
That's not a quick question.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaedehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
From who? Where? Why? How?
You are too kind. We are currently
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest.
I think I have another idea as to why someone would want to attack Kazuha. Because, like, I'm just thinking of examples of, like, famous YouTubers or famous celebrities. There's always gonna be somebody who wants to stir up shit with celebrities. So, I don't know, is this a random hater who's trying to stir up shit to get himself famous off of Kazuha?
Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for it.
Why?
To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaedehara's personal information.
Do they want to know how they were able to block the Raiden Shogun's Muso Hitatachi? Was it just a one-time special moment that he was able to do it in the heat of rebellion? Or was it something else?
Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want.
Millions? Of more? Whoa.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Thank you for not telling anyone anything.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate... Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaedehara.
Yeah, but it is surprising you that a bunch of complete strangers are looking for him and offering money.
But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Should you be surprised with the assault? Hasn't anybody else ever been assaulted for being famous?
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some information from...
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention.
Yes, because they're only focused on the big things and they miss out on all the little things.
If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault. In which case, the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
So in other words, everything else has flown under the radar because these were smaller events, but assaults is like the only thing that doesn't get under the radar. So once it becomes a problem, it starts to escalate.
Oh, that does make sense.
Yes, says Mr. Smarty Pants, who says they have smart moments but are unable to handle the situation now. Also, that kid is jumping in the background.
Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
Or we could just go out to where we were before and find that Ronin out there.
I still find it difficult to believe that few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now.
It's just a way of getting praise, and also easy for me to fight him off, because I had to use my traveling characters.
I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me.
Says the person who probably had that happen to them in the first place, so it's interesting you're bringing this up again.
For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaedehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
You wanted to help the traveler at that time because the Shogun tried to slash my back.
You are much too humble. Oh, actually, there was one strange... Let me tell you about it just in case.
So there was another assault that happened, unrelated to somebody... There was one strange incident over the past few days. It doesn't involve an attack, though. Okay. So I just had to make sure I was reading it right.
Sure. During times like this, the more information we have, the better.
All right, then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma. Now there's a familiar name.
Animo? Like, it's just a weird way of saying animo, but I don't know.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithing. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Maybe that's the one who attacked us?
Understood. Though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any...
Fine.
Can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Yeah, because if you've ever played this game, of course there are going to be some twisty turns everywhere.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amen...
Sounds good. Oh.
Okay.
Ah, if it isn't Kaedehara Kazuha. What brings you here today?
Stop.
Huh? You two know each other?
Do you have to know somebody to know their name? Well,
Yes.
knowing their name.
The Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the two clans.
Because the Kaedehara, Kaedehara is a bladesmith, so I wouldn't doubt that they would have any relationship with this blacksmith.
After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects.
Raiden Gokaden.
Let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun, and over time, further honed and enhanced by them. Unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
Because for some odd reason, all the other bladesmith clans have been brought out, possibly due to Fatui or any relationship to it.
So sad.
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties. And just as iron sharpens iron, so too did we learn much from each other. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water, as it turns stone to sand.
As somehow one is turned to another.
There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life.
It is only a matter of time until my apprentice breaks his shoulder from those hammer-smashing techniques.
As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
Ishin. What?
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner.
So it's the other way around, the relationship between the owner and the blade?
You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan.
I do this personally, not professionally!
But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew.
Nephew?
We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out...
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far.
Because we found out that they don't handle trivial matters, unless it's assault, in which case, that's a whole other thing.
He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I...
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift.
Something about sword making arts?
I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse.
Yeah, well...
Neither of them came back.
And a fire broke out because someone played too much with Claymore. Play more with Claymore.
Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
Was this Yoimiya? Her doing? Nah.
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
So are we dealing with Yuya?
Huh. Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason.
What if that reason was somehow twisted into his mind?
But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced, or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Okay.
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Then who did?
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the not...
And you.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now.
Did I ask for anything?
My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No. You misunderstand us. We...
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again.
Are the debt collectors related to the disappearance of your husband and... what's his name?
I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state.
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to... With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about...
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
Wait, what? Did someone mention that the collector was strapped for Mora? Like, a collector might not be strapped, but did anyone say that before?
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things.
The debt collector or your husband who's the collector?
He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married. But as time went by, things changed for the worse.
I almost feel like marriage is a scam, but I'm starting to wonder.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Marriage. That's what happened.
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them.
Oh, so he kind of turned into me. He just bought everything. Usually when I buy everything, I put it into use, but... I don't know.
Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house.
Warehouse?
He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance.
Why? Maybe your husband?
I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens.
Why?
On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Oh, you made a huge mistake. You're like, your toys or me? And what do you expect? He took his toys.
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
It's important to set boundaries. I would know because some people don't like boundaries, or they don't like to see boundaries because then piece of freedom. So, yeah.
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me.
Or he was in a trance, for whatever reason necessary.
The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
Who was the buyer?
I see. I understand. Amenoma Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price, but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
Or was there another pressure that was getting to him?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down.
Who started the fire?
Perhaps he's too afraid to come home, now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts.
Who started the fire? Was it you?
Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together.
Oh god, nah, I don't think he started it. I have a South Park moment.
As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting
They're
things
not
is
Transformers.
a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period.
Also, I really wonder, is there ever a compilation on YouTube of, like, commonly said things during Archon quests with many of the characters?
But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Amenoma Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument.
So... start an argument...
This situation is getting a little confusing.
Okay, let's see if I can get this straight. Obviously, her husband is a little too meek and weak to start any argument. And, frickin' the other guy, the buyer, is also too mild-mannered to even start an argument as well. So, where did the fire come from? Was there a third person at the scene?
A little confusing. More like completely mystifying.
How can two mild-mannered people start a fire?
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so...
You got two weak people going at each other. How did they start a fire? Was it accident? And how they changed their character?
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance.
Yeah, but so what?
The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery.
What? So who started the fire?
Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, God.
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and...
Accident? Maybe. But even if that was the case, why did they leave the scene and why did they go missing?
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Perhaps the fire was deliberately used to hide the truth. We're still missing crucial information. I feel like we are, but what happens if we're not and we have all the information? I don't know. I feel like we're still missing crucial information.
Right.
But what?
I very much agree with you. Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up.
Both of them were too mild-mannered, so I highly doubt an accident is in place. So I don't think an argument would have started up, so we're missing something.
The chances are that there are still some clues. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict.
Agreed.
Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire.
Yeah, but they both disappeared. So why did they... So why would the motive be one?
The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes.
Doesn't seem connected to the
What could
case...
have happened there?
Case of the attacker, but why?
Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker. Namely, that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
I'm thinking, could this be related to another Raiden Shogun story quest where memories, or some people, or no, the Yai Miko story quest where there was like a possession thing? Is someone possessing one of them to make it so that things escalate?
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Says the person who thinks they're smart. Not so smart now, are you, Paimon?
Of the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse.
Who is my scryglass?
No!
Wait.
Don't talk about your spyglass. Wait. I have an autumn leaf on my band.
I hear something ominous in the wind.
Is it the same?
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Wait. I hear rain. Did you know that when it rains, people get wet? But for some odd reason, I don't, because my character's special.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
They're here. He's having a Wolverine moment where he senses nearby people.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in.
Maybe it somehow knew that because we were together, it wouldn't attack, because it only wants to take out one person at a time.
It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami.
Tatarigami?
Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation.
Are we dealing with the Spider God? I feel like we're dealing with the Spider God.
We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
Let me just get rid of this thing. We should remain cautious and expect the unexpected. What?
Huh. So it's an underground warehouse.
What?
The force is definitely coming from down below.
So it was from the warehouse.
The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
But why?
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
I think I have an idea. I'm still thinking about that sword from the very first attack. Maybe the sword possessed one of the characters and turned them into a Ronin during the deal. But why did two of them leave?
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time.
Okay, that could explain it.
From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could...
So what should we do now?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside.
That's dangerous. Are you gonna blow the door right off its hinges?
If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth.
Okay.
You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than...
This risk is trivial. No wonder the Tenryu Commission didn't investigate it. I'm gonna open it behind a bush.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything.
So...
It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
Not sure if it's good or a bad thing, so I think it was just a scare.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
God damn it. Why would you think there's a boogeyman down there?
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction of two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them.
We cannot afford to delay any longer. And like Paimon and the other character says, and there's no time to waste! Let's go!
Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this... Quiet your mind and focus on what...
So we gotta find the Tatarigami. Yeah.
From this point, the trail appears to split into two.
Okay, something tells me if we look one way, we're gonna find one of
The
them.
main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly. Quite possibly.
Yes.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely!
Wait, what?
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
So they're digging for it? Can I say hi? There we go.
It's...
Hyperbloom. It's...
Ugh! Look at this red stuff! What is it?
blood.
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone. Well, let's take a look.
I'm Nagato. I was wounded by animal Yuya. He took most of my precious blade. I chased him, but could not catch him. I lay down here to rest on account of exhaustion. I thought I would croak right there. My stomach kept on bleeding. Seems that some strange power has sustained me. Why did he steal that blade? I was going to sell it to him. He even burned my warehouse down. It hurts, but for some reason I can't fall unconscious, so all I can do is distract from the pain. Right, what will happen to such Shiko, Yuji? I'm sorry to tell them I really am, only now do I realize how stuck in my ways I was, and now blind to my obsession. Must have been cursed, collect all those strange and bizarre things, but they won me not one iota of happiness or warmth. Put it all together and still would have been worth a single word from her mouth. Thank you, sorry for laying it out, Sachiko. Okay, so there was an argument. So, it wasn't Nagato that was the one possessed, but the other one? Amenoma Yuya.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls.
Okay.
Yes. Right now, we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then...
Right! So let's get moving!
Okay. And there's no time to waste! Let's go!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
How do you know? Also, that person is standing in the background right back there, so maybe he also knows something.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
So we were attacked by Yuya? And that's who the Ronin was?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search.
Okay. Seems like you already have all the answers, and I don't... Ooh. We get to do this again. Yep. There we go.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Who, Yuya?
Why here?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time.
Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Is it the samurai from before?
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
So you're possessed from the Tatarigami.
Aha! What's your problem, huh?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us.
It's not Yuya, it's the one, it's the Tatarigami.
But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
I somehow knew it was the blades. I'm like, why?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely you...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather, as a means to occupy, Amenoma Yuya's body.
So we're dealing with another possession thing, except this one's a little bit more indirect via weapon stats.
You're sharper than I thought. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Let me guess, because all the blacksmiths of under the Raiden Shogun were dissipated, and he was one who was forged under the Ishin, who's resenting the clans who let him go.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me.
Was it really... Are you really sure this is an Inazuma product? Or is this something to do with Snezhnaya?
He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, single most perfect blade in the entire world. But also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So... swords can become conscious? And control people?
The Shogun can rip that sword in half with their bare hands.
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I seek but one thing. To face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power. The might of Ishin art.
So it's a long time coming, a vengeance.
So Amenoma Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
You kill them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission.
Says the tool that is being used. Snezhnaya next year. Oh god.
When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
So he's definitely a product of the Fatui.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenoma Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun.
The person who bested the Raiden Shogun. That's why he's going after Kazuha. It's like, why couldn't he just go after the Raiden Shogun? Oh, but somehow Kazuha was able to block the Raiden Shogun's attack.
Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come.
So he wants to possess Kazuha.
Now, give your body over to me!
No.
Time to go.
Time to get around. Nope. Oh.
As a good knight should.
Here.
Let me scry.
Here.
Got her.
Here.
Emerge.
Kazuha is one of the best characters in the game, by the way. Okay. Back. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I don't know where you went. There you are. Nope. Here. Your history.
Come on now.
You are literally
Right
made in
now.
history.
Right here. Shadows of fate. Ha!
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Boom! Ooh, autumn leaf.
Do not stand in my way.
This animal character even better than
strike
Minty.
you down too.
Why?
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Easily.
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more.
So you're limited by the body.
Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will.
We'll smash you into pieces.
The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any means...
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance.
Really? You can tell all that just...
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Maybe because... hate can only get you so far.
Because all of that is in the past.
Yeah.
I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped.
That's why there's hate.
After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. to the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Was that mentioned? If it was mentioned, I would have missed it.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Amenoma Yuya and...
And what of it?
It was mentioned. Alright, fine. I didn't pick up on it.
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew. And the more you wished to run from the truth.
Gotta pick up on all the tiny details. Let out your inner Ace Attorney. I hesitate on picking up the smaller details because I'm just wondering, is it relevant to the whole thing?
But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
Maybe. Like, it's not easy for someone with ADHD to pick up on every small little thing. So, fine. I gotta not be so closed off and open my mind. I get too tired. So I gotta find a balance for picking up on those small things.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
You can't expect to get ahead all the time when some part of you is behind.
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly.
And you should face reality.
Exactly.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing.
Yeah, well, facing fantasy doesn't get you anything either.
I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality.
Says the person who's on the fastest track to self-destruction and pretty much any other ideology that falls up under these conditions.
It is pointless to argue further. Descendant of the Kaedehara clan, if you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in...
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your...
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
It's very risky. You're dealing with the cursed blade that can possess people.
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the blade's puppet.
So we gotta find a blade and prove it that no matter what his ambitions are, it's not gonna cut things down.
The cursed blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar...
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me.
Does that mean I'm gonna have to mercy kill you if things get out of hand?
We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing...
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful weakness now. Take me
So you want me to face the Traveler?
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy It's all right. So far, this was as I expect. I will.
What should we do next?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since!
Okay, just face the Ronin until the blade can't take anymore.
All right. Please lead the way.
What about Amenoma?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently.
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine.
Great. Don't start when the Ronin starts speaking. What do you mean when the Ronin starts speaking? Sorry. You'll see when you hear them. Okay. Occupied hold. Get over Ronin after being abandoned. So, I need Animo. But my guess is Kazuha is gonna have that sword in, so I'll go in with that Animo. Why? You want to hear what they say?
On this journey to me.
Ooh. Don't start. You'll see when you hear them.
Let's get down to business.
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. There it is. God. Well, like I said before, Patrick, if anything, it's the game. Oh, I like. Is there a secret cutscene I can't react to? Oh, that's why. Alright, fine. There you go, Patrick. Now! Oh my god, they keep saying it. They keep saying it. Oh god, Mulan references everywhere. Those groups, you should hold on.
How are you feeling?
I'm alright. The blade is performing largely as I expect. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on...
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, he is instead trying to match my fighting rhythm. Let's keep going.
The blade that chooses its owner. You gonna do it? Mulan reference? Mulan reference? Nope. No Mulan references from you. I bet Patrick is already sick and tired of, like, that. I don't know, why do you hate the Mulan references, Patrick? Did my attack just go down?
Adorn my knight!
My attack power just went down.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
It's grown dimmer.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is... He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting...
But what would that do to Amenoma Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily.
You should hold down
He's
skill.
still trying to achieve his goal.
Hold down the skill. Okay. Okay.
Time to go.
Ow. Boom. There you are. I feel like my attacks are not becoming as effective as before. Alright, fine. So every time I enter an area where there's a large group of Ronin, they go with the Mulan reference.
Are you okay? It looked like you were...
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again.
Perhaps this time, we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk!
Looks like it's ready to break.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy.
So the truth is right there in front of
I've
us.
finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield command, but regrettably we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Yeah, well, that person who understood him must have adapted the Fatui's cruelty and obstinacy.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
I think what I just said before.
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming
You shouldn't fight
from?
with this blade anymore.
Yep. We can help this.
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Let's get down to business.
Wind Strider.
No. Brother Patrick's gonna comment on this. Now I'm hitting harder. Come on. There we go. Boom.
You fought way better with your own.
Are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am.
Broken, battered, over wear and tear, holding on to the past without facing reality.
No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
Yeah, well, the problem is you're on a completely different side of the spectrum, and it would never have worked in the first place.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
I really wonder if there's some meaning behind that. The idea that a blade made in China somehow was able to take on a Japanese blade. But somehow a blade made in Russia was not able to take on the Japanese? I don't know if that's a reference to, like, past wars, but China was able to go after Japan, but Russia was not.
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but this blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during the skill, blade, determination. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. I feel a great sense of regret for you. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Display you could not prove you could take down the Ronin with Kazuha, so therefore you lost the bet.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further.
Okay. Uh-huh.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end.
So you felt what the blade felt.
A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final word.
Wow. That was the blade's memory.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his action. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma. No matter how long or how hard, all he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only...
Shame it's too late now.
Yes. It is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment. He seems to have calmed down, though.
Now we can finally save Yuya.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my fortune like it was just yesterday. I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numbed the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition...
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Amenoma Yuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should...
His attitude has grown a lot milder. What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Is he gonna try to take you over?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again.
Are you asking us to fight you?
Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
You're gonna fight Kazuha.
And who would be the opponent?
The Traveler?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his conscience. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina.
I see. He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
Okay.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryou Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
Let's give it a greater sense of decoration. No. Wait. During the cutscene, I actually noticed this behind here. And that should be it, and done. Now, one final duel and end the quest.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash.
I don't... okay.
Yep, we still can't let our guard still. Even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him.
Yup.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Ready to fight?
Okay. Successor of Ishin art. Kaedehara KAZUHA'S.
Successor of Amenoma art. Amenoma Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
So you're gonna use
It is my honor also.
the broken blade.
Wind Strider. Time to go. Wind Strider.
Now this is why you should have full consent from within yourself. He got me, but I'll get him back again. Oh, where did you...
As one with wind and cloud.
Thank you for the experience, although he appears battered and broken. In your hands, it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away. But that same sense of determination remains strong.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara KAZUHA. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. Maybe we can go back there together.
So you're finally gonna end the quest?
What does he want to go there for?
Maybe he wants to be made anew.
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
Good. Maybe he wants to be torn apart. Or broken down.
Oh, it's Yuya!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able to return.
Tell anyone what you got about the various things that happened.
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji, from the Bantan Sango Detective Agency, tells me that they've found the missing Mr. Nagato.
Really?
Really?
Yes. Badly wounded, but he will live. And now that Yuya is back, it seems like the final ending to this story is a happy one after all.
No one had to die, despite the accident in the warehouse and possible atrocities committed by Blade.
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in...
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
What? No way!
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. I have decided to let him do it.
But he... Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
The decision is yours. His decision, his choice.
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
A reforged sword that gave up its consciousness. Believe me, you learn a lot about Blade's final words from Kazuha.
That's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
He just wanted to continue his work on the blade.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name.
What is Kagotsurube Ishin?
It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Seems like he really wanted to...
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them.
The remnants of the defeated gods are nothing to scoff at.
I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations.
So that's kind of why you were able to relate to him.
Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did.
Just as your brother?
Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should. I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Okay.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Are you gonna accept it? Yes or no? So if you're gonna accept me, you might as well accept all of me. So all the visions that were on the statue are now gone. Okay.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amenoma Yuya should conclude soon. Do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Okay.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please, take a look at this blade.
Does he actually know anything about it?
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. a weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaedehara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
So in other words, he's gonna stay a countryside person rather than a city person.
I see. I understand.
That's his answer. It's no to Kamaji.
The Kaedehara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well. I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised.
So in other words, Kazuha gave you a hard no.
However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance...
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
It almost reminds me of Tignari's response to the academia. But in this case, Kazuha rejected Kamaji Kujo out of the desire to do his own thing. But I don't know if Tignari's response was to reject whatever the academia was offering. I don't know if that's also Kazuha's decision, but I really wonder.
Where will you travel to next?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Okay. Done! Done! There we go. I like this one. In the meantime, I gotta get going. I gotta charge my controller and I gotta do some stuff later. Alright? Bye!